Time for some favorite summer reads. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you my favorite books that I read over the summer. So, none of these really pertain to like summer itself, it's just I read them over the summer. So between the months of June to August, that is pretty much what this list is. If I read it between those months, it's on this list, and these are my top 5. We will have these linked down below if you're intrigued with any of them. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the list. Alright, so I do have a set order for this, and I think it's relatively set in stone. So I'm excited for that. Again, I did do the mid-year book freakout tag, so if you want to take a look at that video, that will be up here. Only one book kind of kicked over into that from the summer because I read it like right before I filmed the mid-year book freakout tag, and it is, well, one of my favorite books I read over the summer and pretty much for the year so far. So let's start off with number 5. House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. Obviously, I don't want to spoil too much with these books, so I'll try and keep this relatively vague. Pretty much what happens in this book is Sophie is pretty much brought into this family, not against her will. What ends up happening is this accident happens to her father and like his like company that he works for or owns, and like some shipment isn't going to get in, and like this really rich guy that they met at like this party like a couple days prior decides to stop in, gives him a visit. I guess the dad kind of knows the family. Pretty much comes there and says, I can help you financially under one condition, your daughter has to marry me. And they're like, okay. And so they do that. She moves in with him and his family, and things kind of get a little weird with the family. So it's a really good book. There is a sequel called House of Secrets. I did read that. It was pretty much as good as this. I just think that the original just kind of tops it out. But yeah, this was a very good book. I give it 5 stars. And yeah, there you have House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. Alright, in second place, but my fourth favorite book for the summer is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Where this would for sure differ with Danielle, because she actually does not like this book as much. I absolutely love this book. I love the ending. Obviously, I can't spoil it. But pretty much what happens is it's November 1991. Nirvana's in the tape deck. George H.W. Bush is in the White House. And movie-obsessed college student Charlie Jordan is in a car with a man who might be a serial killer. So what ends up happening is this student, Charlie, is trying to get out of college. She's trying to drop out because there is a killer that has been on the loose on campus. Her boyfriend is kind of like on her side with it and is like, it's fine. You know, I really wish you would stay, this and that. She gets I think it's an Uber or it's a Lyft. I don't know what the companies are. It's Uber and Lyft, I think, are the two main ones. But anyway, she gets a ride from the stranger, and turns out he could be the campus killer or he could not be. Obviously, I read it, so I know the truth. But from there, a whole lot of bad things happen, and there's, in typical Riley Sager fashion, there's a lot of twists in the book. The twist that I actually liked the most is the twist that Danielle actually hated the most. It's, between her and I, it's still a solid book. She just didn't like what I did, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. And it was a really solid book. I gave it 5 stars. I would for sure recommend this book, obviously, because it's on my list here. And with it being a thriller, I can't really say much more than that. So just give it a read if you have not so far, because it is a very solid book in my opinion. So in 4th place, you have Riley Sager, Survive the Night. Alright, the next book that I'm going to talk about might shock people with where it's placed because of, well, who it's by. But in 3rd place is Billy Summers by Stephen King. So, obviously, 5-star book. Duh. This has a potential to crack my top 10 Stephen King books of all time. it's probably got a more solid chance of top 15, but I don't know yet. I gotta ponder it a little bit more. Pretty much what ends up happening, I actually did a reading vlog with this, so if you want to take a look at that, check it out up here. I go a little more in depth with the book with that. But I'll keep this vague. Pretty much Billy Summers is a hitman who only really does the job if the person's a really bad person. And he takes this job to get rid of somebody in some political aspect who's like really got really opposite views of what he likes and stuff. And what ends up happening is he gets pretty much backstabbed by the people who hired him, and pretty much it kind of becomes a revenge story. But you know, it's a really solid book. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun read, and I was really excited when it came out because obviously it's Stephen King. So, but yeah, again, check out the video. It's got more in-depth analysis of the book, and I kind of talk about it a little bit more up there. So, in third place, you have Billy Summers by Stephen King. All right, in second place is a surprise book, but not really a surprise book because she's written a lot of good things. It's Shari Lapena, Not a Happy Family. So, there's kind of a theme with most of these books. I think it's 3 out of the 5 are all Book of the Month picks. So, that's exciting. But this book was really solid. If you've seen the movie Knives Out, this book gives you those vibes almost 1,000%. At least in Danielle and I's opinion. Pretty much, and this isn't going to spoil anything because it happens within the first 20 pages of the book, and I'm pretty sure it's in the synopsis. So, group of 3 kids have rich parents who are kind of douchey, and they get murdered. And pretty much the whole book, you're trying to figure out who it was, and what everyone kind of has a motive to really do it. The son gets cut off from getting money. One of the daughters is considered a whore or something like that, and really is not liked. And another one just wants to have the house because she's trying to start a family, and the dad doesn't like one of the husbands, I think, or something like that. It's a really solid story. It's a good book. Again, it gives me very strong Knives Out vibes. It's also got a lot of twists, and you don't really expect the person who it is to be the person who did it, but yeah, it's a really solid book, and I really wasn't expecting it to be. Danielle finished it not that long before I did, and then she immediately was like, Zach, after you're done with this book, read this book, because it's a good book. So, that be what I did. So, yeah, there you have Not a Happy Family by Shari Lapena. Alright. If you're watching this thus far and you're wondering, where's this book? It's here, at the number 1 spot. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This was my favorite summer read. It's been my favorite book of the year so far, and now that we are in 8 months into the year as opposed to, 6 from the mid-year book freakout tag, it still is my all-time favorite book of the year so far. I mean, I gotta be really vague with this. I can't, spoil anything. Pretty much what happens is something's going on with the world where it's going to be ending soon, and this group of scientists are trying to figure out what they need to do to save it, because there's, something happening with the sun, and it's, starting to, lose its, temperature, and it's, starting to drop lower than it should be. And they're talking possible ice age, and they need to send people out to space to figure out what's going on. And also what happens is this college professor, who's one of the main people who figures it out, ends up going kind of against his will. At the beginning, he doesn't really remember who he is or what he's doing, but you kind of get told backstory throughout the book. Like I said, I can't really say much more than that, but one of my all-time favorite book characters is in this book. I'm actually really excited for this book for the rest of the year because I don't know if anything is really going to beat this, because it's a really solid story and it's science fiction. It's not a typical genre I tackle. So yeah, my all-time favorite book of the summer, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Alright guys, so these are my favorite reads of the summer for 2021. Make sure you let me know what yours are down below in the comments. Also, if you are intrigued with any of these books, we will have them linked down below. And again, a few videos back, or the last video we did, Whatever my least favorite King books plus 2,000 subscriber giveaway. We do have a giveaway going on. Make sure you check that video out. We'll have that linked up here if you have not done so. Criteria is pretty simple. Be subscribed to Zacks Books. Be subscribed to the Zach and Danielle Vlogging. And just let me know what your favorite book is on that video. You got to make the comment on that video, not this one. So just make sure you do that. But yeah, otherwise don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.